Hey everyone, this is Gabrielle Jackson again, and we have another amazing millennial entrepreneur here to talk about his own journey. And I think you're really going to be stoked today. We're joined by Danny Nardo of Nardo's Naturals, and Danny is just an incredible entrepreneur. He's one of those guys who is very driven, very focused, and I think has a really unique perspective about what it actually means to be an entrepreneur in this day and in this age. Right now he's coming out of Florida, but he's really been all over the place. And just to brag on Danny a little bit, he's probably most well known for him and his brothers going on to a little thing called Shark Tank, where they did really well and had just an incredible experience and really exposed the world to something that they're probably not that familiar with, which is a bunch of guys creating skincare products and makeup and all that. And I actually totally had to brag on him even more because I have some of his lip gloss and I'm actually wearing it right now. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I didn't even tell you I was doing that. Yep. So you guys should all buy it. My lips are so moisturized and amazed. Danny's awesome, and he's really got a creative approach and really like a heads down approach to entrepreneurship, which I think is going to give us a really great perspective. So, hey, Danny, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I was going to say your lips look amazing. I had no idea it was my stuff, so I'm even happier now.
I set him up for that. But just to jump in, what in the world were you and your brothers thinking when you came up with this idea of starting a skincare line for women?
I mean, it sounds pretty normal to me, right? 4 guys in the kitchen making skincare products.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's just, it's an incredible story. It's an incredible hook, and we didn't intend upon that. And I think that's how the best things unravel, is when you don't mean for something like that to happen, and the journey that we've experienced has been so unbelievable. But really, to take us back, I'm one of 4 boys, so I hate to use the word I, because it certainly is all about we. My brothers and I started this family business in our parents' kitchen. Many years ago, we were importing coconut oil just for ourselves, internally ingesting it. It's an incredible product to consume. It's really good for you. It's a healthy product. A lot of people, they think about health, they jump on a treadmill, they change their diet, they want to eat right, exercise. A lot of people don't think about their skincare, and topically what you put on your skin. A large portion of what you apply to your skin absorbs through your pores and into your body. So essentially, you're eating your skincare products. So we started eating this coconut oil, and we said, well, why not rub it on our skin as well? And one thing led to another. I mean, friends and family were like, guys, your skin looks great. I didn't want to tell them what I was doing. I was a little embarrassed. But I mean, really, one thing led to another. We said, well, I think this is actually a pretty great ingredient to work with. Again, this is years ago, before coconut water was on the marketplace. Coconut oil wasn't even on store shelves. It hadn't been heard of. So we really tapped into something with a really unique ingredient before the marketplace now knows what it is. So that was our upper hand, and we infused it to a few different botanical extracts. My oldest brother was really skilled in health and nutrition, and he understood organics. I was a little bit more versed in marketing. My other brother in sales, and the other brother in business. So we all were a jack of individual trades, and we put our heads together, and it made Nardo's Natural. Everybody had their own little department, and it was very juvenile in the beginning. I mean, it was just a fun thing in the kitchen, whipping a few jars up, naive, just selling and slapping labels on it, and we took it.
Who are you selling this to? Because I'm just imagining, my sister and I used to sell stuff when we were little to our neighbors, knock on their door. I'm assuming that there's not 4 grown men doing that, but how did you guys get this in front of people?
A glorified lemonade stand. I mean, we didn't have the funds in the beginning, so we took the word market, like marketing. We took it right in half. We went to the market. We went to the Saturday morning market. It was about 2 miles from my home. Every Saturday morning they have it. We paid $45 for booth space. We said, who wants to try some skincare? And I mean, at first we got a lot of chuckles and things like that, but what really impressed people was our knowledge of the aesthetics of skin, understanding skin health, what was infused in these products. How many times can you go somewhere and say, I know the person, the owner, I met the guy who made my products for me, and he was informed, he was well educated about what I was applying to my skin and what was necessary for healthy skin care. And I think when people then realized that this wasn't just a song and dance, it wasn't a joke, these guys know their stuff, they were actually coming to us with questions and saying, okay, what do? I have this, I have that, my pores are large. and we would help them through these, skin ailments, and they would use our products and see results. So then they kept coming around again in a circle. My bottle's empty. Come around, my bottle's empty. And they're like this. So we started to develop a snowball effect organically, and it just really grew and grew and grew. So then we took it to the hotels. We went to a world-renowned hotel called the Don Cesar, and that was our first accolade on our resume. We were in a hotel. It was amazing. It was a AAA 4-diamond account. All the celebrities stay there. And I had no idea this was going to happen, but it became the #1 selling product at the spa. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a big deal. And this was, we had nothing to our name. So then we marked. We said, we've got something now. We've got some credibility, a leg to stand on. So then we went to the next hotel and said, hey, we're the #1 selling product at that hotel down the street. I think you're going to want this stuff. And we went to the next one. And that credibility gave us leverage, and that leverage ultimately gave us some growth.
So when you're talking about that exponential growth, and I wonder if you guys have like a thing on your wall, like for every time anyone says organically, you have to like put like a niche on it, or like an organic jar, like you have to put money in it.
Yeah.
Like a swear jar. But I should probably do it in this conversation. But when you're talking about this, we see like the victory at the end. And I think a lot of times as millennials, we think in like 140 characters, like this is awesome, just landed this awesome client. Yep. But what were you thinking that first time that you're going into this incredible hotel where, like Jay-Z is staying, and you're like, here, you should buy what my brothers and I just like whipped up. Like what was going through your mind as you're getting that first major client?
It's intimidating, but I honestly love, and Barbara, this is kind of foreshadowing, but Barbara Corcoran loved the naivety. We were so naive. And I don't want to use the word stupid, but we were naive in the sense that we were so excited that we didn't think about how difficult it truly was. And we let that naivety kind of be our strong suit, because you know what? What have you got to lose? Why not go in there? Don't worry about the stipulations. Don't worry about the red tape. Knock it all down. And that's just like a cool thing she always said. Barbara's like, you're one of those guys that if there's a brick wall, you're not going to stop. You might be knuckleheads, but you're going to run straight through and hurt your neck until you get through that wall. But you're going to go head first every time. And that's honestly how we approached our first location, pre-Shark Tank, pre any of that stuff. And that's what ultimately led to that success, was just, let's go for it. I mean, what happens if they say no? Go to the next one, try again. And that's all we did. Just keep pushing, keep pushing.
See, I love that, because so many people think that as millennials, we can't take failure, or that we are almost too ambitious or like too excited and not in touch with reality. Yep. But here, you and your brothers were like, why not? There's a difference between, like you said, being stupid and being naive. And I think that using it to your advantage of looking at it as a potential opportunity rather than a potential failure. So I think that is super awesome.
Thank you.
So we're, of course, talking about millennial entrepreneurs. What does being a millennial entrepreneur mean to you?
To me, it's exciting to see the response from individuals and what we've accomplished and what we've done. I'm extremely proud of it. But I think more than ever, I love how people are engaged by it, and then it motivates them. And I think that's what we need right now. I think we do need people to just take the ball and run with it. One of these cool little slogans, I don't want to say I came up with, because I probably saw it somewhere and then it triggered my brain, but I feel like I came up with it. But if we don't change the world, who's gonna? And like, I think about that all the time, and our generation has the opportunity to do that, and we have to take advantage of that. So I love now, like, touring the country, speaking to, the young minds of tomorrow, the college students, just getting their diploma, not sure which direction to go, and just inspiring them a little bit. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I created a skincare company, but I found a way to make that successful. And there's a way that you can achieve success, and it's how you go about it. And I honestly just hope that our story motivates people to become successful. And that's what I want to do, is motivate my fellow millennials.
Do you think it's different starting a business as a millennial than if you were maybe 30 years older?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, I have to attribute the technology and making things easier for us, the ability to Google things if I have a question. But especially in my industry, it's so saturated. The competition is so difficult now. I mean, we are competing with so much more than what used to be, 30 years ago. Yes, you had your dominant brands, but if I was thinking the way I've been thinking now 30 years ago, it would have been much easier for me to tap into the marketplace with potential buyouts from those mega conglomerates that everybody knows about. The one thing I do love right now is the opportunity for small businesses to develop. There are a lot of opportunities for people, but unfortunately, you don't hear about the large amount that start up and never make it, and there are tons of them. And it's tough. It shows how tough it is to make it, but the saturation of the market makes it extremely difficult this day and age.
Well, so talk a little bit then about this concept of failure, because we hear all the time that millennials can't handle failure,
Yeah.
that we're the trophy generation, that we've been given so much, and we expect so much. And so if we have failure, we'll just fall apart. How
Yeah.
do you deal with failure?
Well, the thing is, everybody hears our story and they hear about the success. I don't want them to always hear about just the success. I mean, the first couple of years were difficult. It was hard. I mean, that's face the facts. It's reality. That's life. It doesn't just wake up and it's rainbows and unicorns. It was difficult. It was rigorous. It was hard to package, hard to think about what was going to go in the bottle, outside the bottle, the box, the label. A woman, I spent like maybe $1,000 on these colors and these schemes, and a woman kind of, ew, that's ugly. And it's like, this is your baby. This is what you created. You're putting all of your money into it, everything you have, and like the reaction might be negative. But you can't be like, you know what, bleep that bleep. You need to say, I need to take that and learn from that. I need to understand that this is somebody who knows the marketplace better than I do. And that's actually why we went to that market in St. Pete. It wasn't to sling some jars and count our cash at the end of the day. I went there to understand the marketplace. I went there to look for people like you, the woman, the consumer, who's going to tell me, you know what, this spray pump isn't that great. I'd rather just a push down cap. Or this bottle's cute, but it would look sexy and white. Something like that. It's more appealing to me. And I'm a man. I didn't grow up putting masks and doing peels on and doing all these things. I needed to learn from the individual, the consumer. So we took it very slow. We took those baby steps. It was tough. My friends were getting weekly paychecks, and my parents were looking at me like, "You guys sure you want to do this? It's not that easy." So there were those first couple of years that I like to remind people that are going to be difficult. And I don't mean to sound like a book of quotes during this interview, but one of the really cool things that Mark Cuban said was, there can be a lot of successful people in this world. Just unfortunately, too many give up too soon. And I really think about that all the time. There were so many opportunities for us to give up. So many times with the door smacked in our face. And it's all about that just perseverance, pushing through. I know it sounds cliche, but it's like legitimate. I've just met so many people who were like, dude, I was ready to give up, and I just kept pushing, and that's why they got to the finish line.
No, that's huge. And I think that the concept of believing in yourself, but one thing that I think you personify very well is this idea of being teachable and the idea of learning quickly. And I think when you are so committed to something, like you're so committed to success, you're so committed to the product, that you're willing to listen and not be too hard-headed, being determined, but not necessarily being stubborn at the same time. But for you, I'm curious, when did you know, were you working full-time before you and your brother started the company, or was there kind of an in-between time that you guys had started this?
So I graduated, I was kind of the dork in the family. I graduated college early, and I rushed right into the real world. I mean, I thought that was
clearly everyone who's the dork of the family. I just want to make this very clear.
But I mean, I wanted to get out there and like almost rush my life. I jumped right into the corporate world, 9 to 5. This is what I thought: suit, briefcase, and just structured lifestyle. And I quickly learned that, man, I stared at that clock